Hello friends, good evening again. Thanks for joining me on a Friday evening. We have 8 people who have joined us already, but today I have something interesting planned. So I thought I will go through the stocks in the scanner that I have, which I go through every week. We look at the scanner and we look at what stocks are actually in our scanner for this week. Okay, but if you didn't have a great portfolio day today, then put a thumbs down. My personal portfolio, I had to square off many of the positions and move more towards defensive. But I think our trade with Trendline investor portfolio has been doing pretty well. In fact, we are kind of had a flat day when many portfolios were down. So we had around 0.2% of capital. Our capital was down by 0.2%. But otherwise, I think we had a decent day. Fortis, thanks to Fortis Healthcare, and also, if you can hear me today well, because I did get a couple of feedback yesterday that people couldn't hear me properly. So if you can hear me today well, again, just let me know in the comments section, and then I think we can get started. Okay. And today I don't see any hellos. Yes. So Hemant says hello, Tabitha hello, Shankar hello. Yeah, I'm sure many of your portfolios were down as well. And also, if you want, we can look at why you should not be holding stocks which are breaking swing lows. Even if you want, you can just go and check our trade with Trendline investor, the trades that we closed, and look at the differences with the current market price and where we closed our trades. Right. So it is a very continuous learning process, and you need to keep learning. You need to keep improving. The problem with most of us is we get stuck holding to our losses, and that's the main problem that we have, right? So we have 15 people. We have a lot of hellos. Yeah, Sagar, audio is fine. Yeah, good. Turtle Trader hi, Ninad hi. Let's get started. Okay, so Nifty, as usual, we'll start with Nifty and then we'll move to trade with an investor. Okay, and then we'll go through the stocks which are in our scanner. Okay, so Nifty again had a second red day after 7 days of green. We again had a second red day, and today was a gap down. Now we did speak about that yesterday, and I clearly mentioned that level that we were looking for is 16,490. And if we gap down below that, we clearly mentioned that that market is a shorting market, right? So this was the level that we mentioned yesterday, right? So that was the level that we spoke about. Now, if you have not looked at it, go back and look at our videos, right? So this was the level we said, and today we had a gap down right below that level. Now, whenever support breaks down with a gap, usually you would see a recovery, and then again you see that rejected twice, right? Now the problem is, since there's a gap down, most of the traders do not take any positions. But if you knew that the support and resistance levels were 16,490, then you would have clearly taken a trade when there was rejection at around this point, right? So that was the level we were watching for yesterday. And if you see right at 9:45, we kind of went all the way up. At 9:45, we had a rejection candle. Now that was probably a good trade in hindsight. But for you to take this trade, you need to be really confident, and your basics need to be very clear that when the support is taken down with a gap down, and if you come back towards that level, now this is a shorting market, right? Now a lot of people are stuck with their positions who went long here. Now they want an exit. So what they do is, when the price again comes back to that support zone, now which is a resistance, they kind of sell off their positions and they get out of the positions. Now this is a typical market psychology, and it happens with any stock. Now we saw this even in CNX small cap, right? Let's look at CNX small cap. So we spoke about this level of 10,300, right? And we mentioned that this level is very important to be crossed, and we did face resistance around that zone, right? So that closing candle there, and we said we had a gap down, and I said it's very important for us to break down and go higher. The same thing happens in every stock, right? Now I'm not sure if Neuland also was an example, but let's just look at Neuland. I think here also, yeah, we did not have that much of a reversal, but we did have a kind of reversal, and it's just again heading down. Now these are proper inverted head and shoulders breakdown, right? So the moment there's a breakdown, you should not go and buy that stock again, right? So let it form higher lows again, and then you go and buy the index or futures, whatever you want. So now we are in a proper lower high lower low formation. So if you look at the 5 minutes charts, We are forming continuous low high low lows. Now this market has now turned into a sell on rise market. Now the reason why I'm saying this market has now turned into a sell on rise market is because this was the first level that we broke out, and from here we had continuous highs and we went all the way up. And if you go to the 15 minutes time frame, you'll see that we hardly made lower highs, lower lows, right? So this was properly intact, right? So this was one of the support zones. It was intact there, and then we went high. And now if you see, this was the pivot low, and we've now broken that pivot low. So this is going to be now a sell on rise market. Now if you don't understand high swing highs and lows, just put a pivot here, and you will see that this zone here, 16162, we had a kind of a breakdown here, but now this is a very deep breakdown here, right? So if you go to the hourly charts, you will just see that much clearer, right? Now if you see here 179, 162, then we went all the way up. Now on the hourly charts as well, we kind of have broken that previous swing high, swing low, right? So the market is a sell on rise market unless we don't fill this gap and head higher. We need to cross around 16,600 is the point we have to cross higher. This would be a sell on rise market. But let's look at what happened today, right? So after that gap down, we've been kind of going, within that we had kind of inside countries, inside bars, and then we kind of spiked up and we couldn't close above. So as of now, it's a sell on rise market, so we need to cross this level to head higher. So go long only above 16,510 odd levels. So unless we don't cross 16,510, you will not be going long. That's very clear because we have broken down from here and we kind of retested here. Okay, now shorts again, this is a range market today, complete range. So shorts again would be if you go higher towards 16,510, and if you look for any resistance there, and if you form a red candle, then probably can look for shorts and we might head to 16,377. But now we have another major support, which is this level, right? So that's also one of the reasons why the market is not going down, because there's a major support which the market might take support at. So we might see continuous sideways days also. Totally unpredictable. It's completely up to how the markets are behaving, right? But for now, look for low risk setups like this reversal zone here. You could have shorted probably and made some good money, but otherwise you need to be patient in such kind of markets. The volatility is big now, the moves are getting bigger, and that shows that we're having moves on both sides, and we have move up and also moving down. So try to find points where you have stop loss 20-30 points or 40 points maximum. Don't go below that, don't go above that, and then you can try to go long or short, right? A simple rule, as I always say, even if you follow a simple rule of higher high, higher low, even that is more than enough, right? So this was the higher high, so we had a higher low, another higher low, another higher low. So another higher low, we kind of broke that. Now this would have hit a stop loss. Now again from here we see we broke this zone here, we gapped down, and now we're forming lower highs, lower lows. So even with the simple pivot strategy also you can make money, but here you might have to give back most of your profits at some points. Like for example, if you had went long here, you'd have given back all your profits, right? So it's very important to learn and evolve. You can't just keep using pivots all the time, because you'll give back your profits most of the time. So yeah, that's my Nifty outlook. Also on the weekly charts, if you see, this is not really a good candle, because we had a massive sell-off this week. Right from the top, 16,700 or 350 point sell-off, and this is probably a doji as well. Now this clearly will signaling that the pause after 2 weeks of rally, we are having a pause now, and the same thing happened here, right? So after 4 weeks of rally, we had a pause, and then we just kept going sideways. So this can be a sideways market as well, but remember the overall trend line. This is the trend line you need to keep watching for, and until Nifty doesn't break this trend line, I think we should be totally fine from a Nifty perspective. But just switching to the small cap and mid caps, right? If you see, that was the level that we're looking for, and we are going down, right? And a lot of people are talking about inverted head and shoulders. Yeah, it's totally right. So for example, if you see this zone, it's kind of inverted head and shoulders, which most of people are talking about. This is the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, right? So but I still see a major support this week. So probably if we only go below the levels of in the mid cap around levels of 26,800, then we can see a very strong sell off. But for now, this seems to be a normal correction, but a lot of stocks are breaking down. Even though the index is just showing a normal correction till now, a lot of stocks are breaking down, and that shows the weakness in the markets. Okay, So that's why I always say don't focus on indexes, don't focus on Nifty, always focus on your stocks. Keep a stop, and if the stock stop loss hits, just exit the stock and move on to the next stock. Okay, and let's look at small cap as well. Right, small cap, the sell-off has been severe compared to the mid caps. It has just been dropping just one green day or two green days in the last 2 weeks. Right, we've not had a single, not more than two continuous green days we have had till now. So yeah, that looks really bad. That sell-off is really bad. And this month, if we go below levels of 9,700, then that could be a very bad red candle, which is a proper sell-off which has happened. Right, so yeah, right now small caps and mid caps do look weak. Many stocks like Kiri Industries, have broken the previous swing lows. You see, this was our stop loss. It has broken down and has gone below. I think Dhanuka has also broken down. You see, this was the previous swing low, right? And then we went high. We also broke this. We just kept going down, right? So there's no use to investing in stocks when it is in such a strong downtrend. Wait for a higher low to form, and then you can probably enter. Now, when I say high, you see this downtrend which is formed, right? And then probably this is the point where a higher is formed, and then so if you're entering at this point, right? So that's when first high, you keep a stop around that low, right? And then you kind of wait for that. And here probably if you wait for closing day, you might have been saved, but wait for a high low to be formed and only then enter the stock. Until then, please don't enter stocks which are on a severe downtrend. Okay, so that's the outlook from index perspective as well. Now just let's take a look at metals. Metals also, a lot of people have been holding metal stocks. Has been a crazy sell-off today at around 6%. The only problem is that gap down right now, unless we don't go back above 5,900 odd levels, probably this could be a top as well. No one knows. But for now, I see that gap. Whenever again if market tends to go up, there will be a strong sell-off around the gap zone again. Okay, but the only good thing here is the previous swing, which was this, or you can even consider this, right? So this is a major support zone on the weekly charts also. So unless this is not taken out, we can still have some hopes that Nifty Metal Index can actually revive. Okay, so that's the previous breakout which happened. Now the problem is we come back inside the breakout zone. Now for a strong stock or a stock index, after a breakout, it should not come back inside that zone again, right? But again, as I mentioned, 4900 or 4900 is the level that you have to watch out for the metal index, and unless we don't go below this, the structure is still intact. Otherwise, if we break this low of 4900, then we are going to go probably sideways for a few months or a few weeks, or we might come all the way back to 3900 odd levels, right? Which is this level over there, right? No one knows. These are just predictions. Technical analysis is all about probability, but you need to just be on the right side. Okay, but another index which is kind of looking very interesting is FMCG, which has given a very strong breakout. Now this was consolidating for many actually weeks, and it was just going sideways, right? So it has finally given a strong breakout. In fact, 2 days before itself the breakout had happened, and now it's heading higher. So this is a space that you want to be in. You want to be in stocks like Nestle, HUL, or Dabur or Marico. I'm not sure. You need to look for your stocks. And also there are some stocks like Ipca Lab which are actually breaking out at new highs. So it's simple. Look for 52-week highs. You can find a simple scanner on charting, and also this setup really looks good because it's a long-term parallel channel, and we're kind of breaking into new highs after almost 8-9 months of consolidation, 10 months of consolidation, and it's formed a nice rounding bottom, and it's probably heading higher, right? So you want to look for such stocks and try to be in such stocks. The moves might be small, but you might still outperform the small cap and mid cap space. So that's something I'd suggest. Go back, revisit your portfolio, and try to kind of look for stocks which are breaking into 52-week highs or all-time highs. Okay, so that's my view on the stocks and how you should be trading in the coming months. But please don't look at the small cap index and freak out and sell off everything. There are still stocks just looking very good, right? Like trade with Trendline investor, these stocks are doing pretty decent, right? They're not fallen much. The pattern looks excellent, and try to find such stocks and try to invest in them and hold them. Okay, so let's look at the portfolio today. So yeah, our portfolio did decent, as I mentioned. Tata Elxsi was up, Fortis was up. We had a good sell-off in Cummins, around 3.68% down, but still we are net to net in profits. And remember, we have trailed our stop loss to cost. So even if this trade hits stop loss, we still protect our capital, right? Otherwise, the order of Laxmi Chem did not really hit. We still have 24% cash. Laxmi Chem, we had kept an order at 380, and our stop loss was around 360 odd in case this got triggered. But the stop loss still remains at 310. So I'm just going back to the sheet. The stop loss still remains at 310. Now I revised to 330 now, but if you just look at the trade history, yesterday the stop loss was at 310, and today I just replaced 330. Just looking at that the stock was still strong; it did not go down that much today. So yeah, these are the stocks today, and we look at the stocks also, the patterns and how they are evolving. Now remember, every weekend you need to look at the weekly charts as well, right? So Laxmi Chem had a good day when it started off the week very well, but then it had 3 continuous days. But here the good thing to notice is it's kind of trying to, it's not going down really. It's kind of having that volume dry up, and it's stopping. It's not going down really. So I'm just looking at the weekly charts. The weekly charts has a kind of strong selling at the top. Now this is what happens, right? So when you have a strong selling, probably you might have a couple of weeks of inside bars, and then probably we might head higher. So for now, yeah, it looks weak for a very short-term perspective. We're not sure whether it'll go higher or not. It depends on the markets. If the markets kind of reverse next week, this might be one of the first stocks to move higher. Right now, I'm just going to look at the hourly charts. Now on the hourly charts, if you see, we kind of made a top here. We had a low, lower, higher low. So this was the previous higher low, then we made a new higher low, and then we had a lower high, and then we made a new lower low this morning. But after this 1 hour candle in the morning, we kind of had inside bars. So now what I'm doing is I'm revising my GTT for buy to the high of this one, right? So this is 374.45. So what I've done is I've kept a GTT, I've revised the GTT from 380 to 375, and I keep my stop loss at 355. So in case this gets triggered, then my stop loss is this low, which is 355, right? So again, remember, we are risking only 500 rupees here. So we're buying just 25 shares, and even if our stop hits, so let's say 355 is a stop, if it hits, then we lose. So right now we have 1376 if 355 hits stop loss, but we'll be losing another 500, so we'll still have 800 rupees profit, right? But you might ask, why am I risking more money? But that's how you make money in markets. You go with the flow and try to buy more the stocks which are going higher. So that's the plan for Laxmi Chem, right? So let's look at the stocks. So Fortis had a really good week, one of the highest volumes. Now remember, this is a breakout from the long-term charts, and it has been trending on Twitter since last couple of days, but that's the breakout which you're looking at. Right now, it's a very strong stock. It has been having continuous 4 green days, and these are stocks that you want to be in, right? So we had continuous 4 strong days, 4 amazing days of volumes, and now I'm just going to the hourly charts to see where we can place our next order. Right now, we said yesterday that we can buy about 275 in case you want to, with a stop around 260 odd, right? That's why you see this, we place this here. But I said we will not be doing it because my risk is still there, right? But now I've revised my stop loss to this low, because today morning after a gap down, we gapped down 262 and then we went all the way high. So I'm expecting this low to hold. So 261. So that stop here is 261. So I've revised my stop loss to 261, and now we can risk another 500 rupees. Right, so I'm risking another 500 rupees here, and I'm buying at so you can keep around, let's say yeah, you can keep around 283 odd levels. So that will be your levels you'll buy. So 283. So remember, we already have 15% position, right? So we're buying around 283, and our stop would be 260, right? 261. So we can buy around 7,000 rupees worth more of shares, right? So yeah, so this is 22, right? So 22 is the difference. So we'll buy another 6,400 rupees worth of shares. So let's make it 23 shares, right? So 6,500 worth of shares, we'll buy more. So that's the plan of pyramid for Fortis. And then Tata Elxsi, let's look at the next stock. So Birlasoft. So Birlasoft has not been going anywhere. So our stop loss here, if you see, we are still having a risk of around 1% of our capital. So nothing is changing there. Again, on the weekly charts, let's see what happened. On the weekly charts, again, we are seeing sell-off around that point. So we need a good closing above 420 to 425 levels. Only then we are heading higher. So if you see the close here was 420, the close was 421. Again, we have not closed above that level. But still, technically, the stock still looks decent. Probably we are going to test the lower end of this channel, and then let's see what happens from here. But a stop loss for now is around 395. Okay, 390. I think that's a stop on 395, right? So we'll continue to keep the stop. Next is Cummins. Cummins had a sell-off today on the weekly charts. Yes, we are having that sell-off on the top. Again, just looking at the hourly charts, if you see, we have a nice trend line which is forming, right? So that's the trend line which I'm looking at, and probably we might reverse from here. Probably another gap down on Monday morning around 977 odd, and then probably we are heading higher from here. But for now, Cummins looks good, and our stop loss is cost to cost, so we are not losing much on this trade, right? So that's how it is right now. So next is Tata Elxsi. Again, just been going sideways last 2 days, but on the weekly chart it looks really good. So this is a channel I'm looking at. So I'm looking for targets of probably around that upper end, which is around 6,500 odd levels. Whether it'll go there or not, I'm not sure. It's just a probability. But this week we've again had good volumes, good bars, and here again I have trailed my stop loss. It's 4440, 4440, right? So you can also move to 4570 here. Yeah, we can also do that. So let's move our stop to this low is 4575. So I'm probably going to keep it to 4500. Okay, so I'm just rounding it to 4500 as a stop. So as of today, if it hits stop, we'll be losing around 320. We'll be gaining around 320 rupees. Okay, so these are the 5 stocks we're holding, and risk right now is just 370 rupees. So if all the stop loss hits today, we'll just be losing 370 rupees. But remember, if these 2 orders get triggered, then we'll be having another 1,000 rupees risk, which will be a new risk. Okay, so that's how we are trading. So portfolio heat is a very important concept, especially in environments like these, because you need to know how much of your entire portfolio will be losing in case your stops hit. If you're going to lose more than 10%, 20% in a week, that's not really a way to invest or trade. You should be very, you don't want your portfolio to go down much, because the more it goes down, the more effort it takes to come up. For example, if it goes down 10%, you need to make 11% to come up. You know this formula very well. If it goes down 25%, I think probably you need to make 33% to come up again. So that formula is something that you must be very well aware of. That's why we want to protect our downside, because upside is very difficult in making. Losing on the downside is very easy, and it comes very fast, right? So bears take the elevator and bulls take the stairs. I hope you remember that. But that's our stocks that we have in a portfolio. And yeah, so Nestle is something which I've added personally in my personal portfolio. The stock might not move that much. It's a very slow mover, but I had to exit. Like Gujarat Alkali had a good position size, I had to exit that, and a couple of other stocks also I've exited. So if you see here, this is a beautiful parallel channel, and we kind of breaking out after a consolidation of 1 year and 5 months, 1 year and 4 months. We're kind of breaking out new highs. So this is a parallel channel breakout, I feel, and also this is also another parallel channel here, right? So we have a multi-parallel channel breakout, and I'm expecting probably targets of around 25,000 odd, which is around that level, right? So probably we're heading towards 25,000 in the next few months. So remember, you need to just make 20% returns in a year every year, and you don't need to achieve more than that. All you need is target 20% a year and keep doing it continuously every year. Some years you make 40-50%, some years you might not make that much, but they're always, in every kind of market, there is always stocks which are moving higher, right? So now probably it's FMCG, and sector rotation is something which happens very often, so you need to be able to spot that and enter that. So another stock from the FMCG space is Britannia, which gave a very good move. If you see, again, this is in a long-term parallel channel, not probably a perfect parallel channel because you don't have touch points there, but I'm just guessing that's a parallel channel. Now this was an anomaly in COVID crash. So if you remove that in the monthly chart, you'll see that it was just a wick, right? But otherwise, if you see, we are now in that parallel channel here, and probably we just reversed and we've broken out from that, again, 1 year and a couple of months of downtrend, and this is also looking very good to head higher. Hindustan Unilever also looks very good. So this also has broken into new highs. So that was the wick there. So kind of crossed that wick. So probably we might see some cool off on Monday next week sometime. But all these are excellent charts, and in case you feel that this market is overextended, please be positioned in defensive stocks. They might kind of help your portfolio to not go down that much. They may not also move that much, but they might give some stability to your portfolio. Okay, so that's the charts that I want to look at. Now, just looking at the scanner this week. So this is the weekly scanner which I run. So market cap greater than 500 crores, volume 50,000 shares, price greater than 10 rupees, and weekly CC cross 100. Now just look at the stocks here, right? Hindustan Lever, Britannia, Asian Paints, Fortis Healthcare. So Fortis Healthcare also is in our this one. I also spoke about that channel which we broke out of, right? So that one, yes. So that's why it's come on a scanner. Then you have Marico, VST Tiller. VST Tiller, I spoke about this even, I think someone asked yesterday, and this also looks really good. So in a weak market, it has done extremely well. So you want to probably buy these stocks in dips, right? So no one knows what is cooking in these companies. There's some news. There's TCPL Pack. Let's look at it. So TCPL Pack, TCPL Packaging. Yeah, this is also close to all-time highs. Yeah, not all-time highs. Yeah, it's kind of close to 52-week highs, right? So that's also close to that resistance there. So probably if we break this, it's probably heading higher as well, right? So that's how you look for good stocks. Aster DM is a very good breakout this week. In fact, I've been following this stock for quite some time, and if you see, this is a beautiful inverted head and shoulders breakout, and this again is a buy on dips, right? So probably it can come all the way back to 170 odd levels, but this is one of the stocks that I'm planning to recommend in this week's newsletter. Then we have Mahaseamless, JKIL, United Spirits. The entire brewery space is doing really well. Sorry, not this. This is United Spirits. Yeah, McDowell is doing well. Again, if you see, I posted this chart sometime back on Twitter as well. But this is a nice symmetrical triangle breakout. If you notice that, symmetrical triangle there, it's a contraction, it's breaking out right now. And moment it crosses 800, you're going to see extreme, very good momentum here. And it's also a nice parallel channel because we have multiple touch points this side and multiple touch points this side. So this, if you have patience, then this is probably going to head to 2000 odd. It's 700 right now. 2500 levels is the level that you can probably see in the next few years. Again, it's a consumption story. Alcohol, economies opening up. A lot of people have been locked up in their homes for the last couple of years, and there's going to be a lot of spending in this space especially. So again, one of the good stocks to watch from this week's scanner. AVT NPL is another scanner, another stock which has come. Again, the stock has gone up and it's again coming down. Right now, I'd probably buy this only above 79-80 levels because this downtrend is still intact. You see this downtrend? That's still intact, right? So this is why I don't buy stocks once it breaks that level, right? So it broke out from, it gave a breakdown from here, and it has tried to test that levels again, and then it's coming down again. So that's why I don't prefer to buy such stocks. So probably buy this stock only above 80 odd level. Triveni Turbine has also come, right? Yeah, again, this could not cross the previous highs, right? So can probably buy above the previous highs, but this is a nice trendline reversal. It reversed from trendline over here and probably buy above the previous highs, right? Bank of India also, and Cabra Extreme. Cabra, I think, also is trying to break out from a very long-term. It's trying to break out from the channel over here, and I think I recommended this in the stock lit. I'm not sure. But if it crosses above 240 odd level next week, then probably it can head higher. I remember after the results or something, it had a gap down, but then it went sideways and it kind of trying to cross that high. So you can keep buy out about 240, 245 and then buy the stock. Okay, so this is from a long-term breakout, but I'm just going to refresh this and show you the daily stocks, right? So we look at two more scanners. One is the daily and one is the weekly. So in the daily, if you see, we have four stocks: Asian Paints, Dabur India, Varun Beverage, and Hindustan Aeronautics. HAL and HAL again tried to cross today that highs, but it came down because of market weakness. But this could be a good stock again. So again, try to see if it crosses 1150 odd levels, 1155, 1160. Then you can probably enter the stock as well. Now VBL looks fantastic. In fact, if you want to buy VBL, you can buy. It's already closed above this week's the previous swing highs, and we had a good closing this week, right? So it has one of the highest weekly closing. So you can look at the stock VBL. VBL is again looking very good. So in case we get a chance to add to our portfolio, we might want to consider this as well. Okay. Otherwise, Asian Paints and Dabur India, you can go and look at the charts. Asian Paints has given a reversal. It has not broken the previous swing low, and it has also reversed from the trend line. Right now, this is a good setup because this is still not broken the swing high, swing low, right, and it's still heading higher. So if it has broken the swing high, swing low, and then you have to wait for it to come back again a previous swing high. So that's what you have to do. Okay, so I'll stop here. I just wanted to go through these stocks. Weeks like today, this weekend is really easy. You have very few stocks to look at and a very easy decision to take. And in such kind of markets, you'll have few stocks that are moving. Don't forget to buy those stocks and make, even if you make 15-20% a year, or even 10% when the market is down 30%, that's still very good. So don't forget, look for stronger stocks and try to buy them. If you have any questions related to this, let me know in the comment section. We'll start taking questions. Hey Mayur. Boomix X took position HAL, but it came down by the end of the day. Yes, it happens in weak markets. You cannot really do anything. All you can do is wait for your stop loss to be hit. But in weak markets, one thing you can do is take positions with less risk. If you're usually taking 1% market risk, then you can reduce that to probably 0.5% market risk, right, or on a capital risk. So I think we did this on the second week of August when we had a crash in the small cap and mid cap space. If you see, we automatically reduced our per stock risk from 1% to 5.5%. So you should be also doing that, Boomik, and don't really get you should be happy that you chose a stock like HAL because it was green at the end of the day. So, and you're not in a stock which is going down. The stock still has the potential to go up if the market reverses, and it wasn't green and it's close to highs, 52-week highs, because of reason, because the buys have been strong. So don't really get frustrated or don't get panicked just because your stock is going down. If a stop loss hits, it hits. But if you don't want to take trades, just ignore such markets and just go away, or take a position with smaller risk, right? Vallabh is saying Imami is forming similar pattern in Nifty FMCG. Let's look at that, Vallabh. Yes, and it's also given a breakout, right? So if you see here, we've kind of broken out from the swing high. So Imami also looks good. That's why I said the entire FMCG space looks good, but it depends on which stock is going to head higher or not. Like now, right now, if you see, Imami has not crossed that high since 2015. So it needs to go there. It probably might face some resistance and then head higher. But if you see Nestle or HUL for that matter is already making new highs. So focus on stocks which are making fresh highs. Or you can buy this stock above, buy Imami above 675 odd. That can be a really good breakout. Above 675 odd. Okay. So that's my take. Sagar saying SSWL has been extremely strong in this correction. Did it show up in your scanner? If yes, then why haven't you taken a lacking for it? Also, your view on Galaxy SSWL. I'm not sure about that stock. Yeah, maybe it's not. I'll tell you why it has not come on my scanner. Yeah, so it has been above, CC 100. It has been above CC 100 for many weeks. Right? So it came down here again. It went above here. It crossed. The 2nd of August, it crossed again 137 odd. But I think we're holding some positions. I'm not sure why I missed it. But again, it does not come above CC 100. It has to come above 100. It's right now 87, right? And on the weekly, I'm sure it's been above 100 for many weeks now. So if you see here, it's been above 100 for many weeks. So maybe that's why I've not looked at it. And usually see such behaviors. I don't like such sideways movements here. Maybe I'd have looked at the stock here and I'd have not even given a damn about it. So that's one of the reasons could be. Also, I'm not sure about the volumes. The volumes are good. Yeah, but see here the volumes are around 13K. So my volumes, if you see, my volume filter says it has to be having minimum 50,000 shares. So that's also one of the reasons why I'd not be looking at it, because personally, when you place a big order, 13,000 volumes, you'll not get much shares. And when you have a downside, when the downtrend starts, you might not really get exit if you have big holdings. So that's probably one of the reasons it's not coming in my scanner. Okay. And Galaxy bearings, let's look at it. Elxsi. Yeah, again a BSE stock. Again a circuit stock. I don't prefer the stocks, but yeah, both are looking really good, and you can continue to hold them, Sagar. So total trader, is there any time frame in markets when we should not take trades and when we have unallocated capital in portfolio and if we find some stocks? I think it's a personal decision to not trade in markets. Especially, I think a lot of I've seen some there is a strategy which is I'm not sure if you know Nick Rage. Nick Rage is Australian trader, and I think I have a strategy here. Yeah, we can trade a strategy. I've coded it, and I put this code here. And this is a nice strategy. There's a book available. You can go and read it. I've coded this. So this was available already. So I just used it from this scanner here. So if you go here, you can type index trend filter, right? So it's already there. So many of the strategies are already coded in TradingView. That's the beauty of TradingView. It's a public place. But if you see here, so what this tells is you can configure the index here. If you go to the settings here, and here you can see Nifty, and it's a 10. Sorry, this is the weekly time frame, and I'm on the 10 week EMA, right? So when the Nifty is below 10 week EMA, it will have a red bar here. So right now, whenever there's a red week, some people using the strategy do not take any trades this week, right? So during the COVID crash, you see we had almost 8-9 weeks when we had this below, it was in red, which means Nifty was trading below the 10 weekly moving average, and then you don't take trades. So there are certain conditions that you can apply, and you don't have to take trades in such kind of conditions, but it's completely a personal decision if you want to take. I leave it to you to decide that. Like I most of the times I'm in markets. There are very few times like 2020 March when I'm not really invested in markets because all my stop loss are hit and everything is going down, right? But you'll not always have such kind of scenarios. Markets also tend to go sideways, like after the 2008 crash, right? So after 2008 crash here, right? So we had a sideways for almost, from 2 years, we just kept going sideways. But in these times also, I wasn't trading that time in markets. I came only in 2010 late, I think, 2009 late. So in these kind of situations, you see we're going sideways. So this can also happen in the current market. Now, after this massive recovery from here, you see 2009, we went all the way one way up. Then we broke the trend line. We just going sideways for a few weeks and few months, and we again had a move. Then this was a pure sideways market. So in these sideways markets, there are always stocks which are heading higher. So we don't know right now whether this is a market which is going to go sideways or which is going to have a fall like this. No one knows. So I'd be positioned in the markets most of the time, probably like how we are right now at 24% cash. I might have 30% cash, 50% cash. But if there's strong stocks in the market, then I try to position myself so that I don't miss some of the major moves, right? So that's my view. Kumari asking my view on Gujarat Siddhi Cement. It's been a long time since I looked at the stock. Yeah, let's remove all indicators. Yeah, so this had a breakout, I think around above 44 had a nice breakout, but I think right now it's correcting. It's probably going to retest that level again. Yeah, so this also is close to the previous swing low, right? So this was the previous swing low and is right close to the previous swing low. Now tomorrow, if market reverses, if you see a green candle, then probably you can take a long trade, but I would still wait for it to cross at least 56 odd levels and then probably enter. That was a previous breakout, right? So that's my view on GIS Gujarat Siddhi Cement. Gujarat Ambuja Exports, GAIL. Again, this is close to a previous swing low. So we had a breakout here, but we kind of came down. We went higher on it. But this is a major support, which is around 158 odd levels. On the monthly charts, we're kind of facing resistance around that point, right? So probably this is done for the time being. I think it can head low, can come down. So careful, don't take a position, I'd say, unless this crosses this level. So unless we don't go above this level, I would not take a position in GAIL, right? So I already drew this. It was a long time before I saw the stock, but you see how that resistance is acting. Just like in CNX small cap, the same kind of resistance acting here as well. Okay, so right now I'm a bit cautious to take a position in the stock. Nishant is asking my view on Kajaria Ceramics. I think we had a good breakout here, and it's one of the strong stocks. I think we had a breakout here. It's just retest, just a 1 day fall. I think this should hold, and you can probably enter the stock even now. And a small stop as well. Keep a stop around 1,995 odd, or even 990, 950 is a good stop, and this can probably head higher from here. But it's one of the strongest stocks that I have come across. Asad is asking me views on Infibeam Avenue. Yeah, so this is what I say, right? So this was the previous swing low, and from there 47, 48 or to 42, so it's almost 15% money that you could have saved, right? So I think that it'll again probably come back to 37 levels. Today it was strong, but I think it's still in a downtrend, right? It's going high, it's coming down, it's going high, coming down, high down, high down. So this is making lower highs, lower lows. So it might take some more time before it starts moving higher. So I don't look at the stock right now at this point. Okay, probably there are many other stocks. Yeah, so that's my view. How to combine RSI and CCI for stock selection? Yes, Vignesh, that's a very, very good question. I think you asked me on Twitter as well, but I just didn't have the time to respond. But I think I have this coded, or maybe I can just do it. Okay, so I'm sorry. Relative strength is comparison is what I use. So this is there in case you want. You can go and check my Twitter pin tweet. It should be there. Okay, so that's the RSI, and I'm going to plot the CCI. Okay, now I use this mostly on the weekly time frame. Okay, but I usually use breakouts mostly. For me, CCI crosses a particular point, and if breakout happens, I kind of consider that stock. Now let's look at Infoedge news, right? The stock itself. Now this stock was in a long down. It came all the way from 120. It came down to 14 levels, and it went sideways. Now this is why you should never buy the first rise. Right? I just explained this. You should have, after a pullback, after a strong downtrend, never buy the first pullback, right? And then this was a level that you had to watch out for, right? Now this stock would have come in your scanner. So it would have come in your scanner here first time. But then if you see relative strength, so this blue line is the relative strength, and then this red line is the EMA of that relative strength, is the moving average of the relative strength. So this relative strength is nothing but the stock price divided by the Nifty index, right? And then this red line is average of that for the last 52 weeks. So here if you see I've been 52 weeks, so it's average of the relative strength of the last 52 weeks. And then so if you see it's still not crossed above the red line, it needs to cross above the red line. So you don't buy, you wait, and first time it crosses here, right? But then you see the CCI is kind of dropping, and also you see this breakout. So you keep a buy order if you want to buy at that point. Your buy stop should be above this level, 30 odd level, right? So just keep a buy stop of 30 point something, and then see again it goes down, it comes all the way down, and then it forms a double bottom, right? So it forms a proper double bottom, and then it breaks out here this week. And this week if you see the CCI also is above 100, the RS is above the red line, and we also have a breakout. Now just plotting the volumes just to help you understand. Volumes also is decent. It's very good than the last many weeks, right? So that's how you enter a stock, and then once you enter the stock, just keep trailing your stop loss, right? So on the weekly time frame, if you want, you can trail your stop loss initially, keep here, then move it here, right? Then keep your stop loss here. Once you have a breakout there, move your stop loss there. Then once you have a breakout there, move your stop loss here, right? And you still keep holding. But if you want to do it on daily time frame, then what you do is you enter the stock here, right? So that was a breakout there, another point. So you keep your stop here, right? And you enter there, right? So you keep your stop here and you enter there. So it does a reversal test, then it kind of breaks it again. So you add more here, and then you keep your stop here, and then it goes all the way, move up, then it does a pullback from here. So once it crosses this high, then you can add more if you want, so above that point, and then move your stop here, right? And you keep doing this again and again. Again we had a breakout here, then you move your stop here, then it had a breakout there, you move your stop there, right? And now here it never crossed. By the time your stop loss was hit here, right? So you get out at this point. So you would have had basically gains of from 30 to 38, which is around 25% returns, or almost 30% returns in just a matter of from June till Jan, on 6 months. That's pretty decent. It's not very good, but pretty decent. And then if you see, the stock has been going sideways since then. Now what most of the people will do is they want to catch every move. They'll come back here, buy again somewhere there, they'll get stuck, they'll hit stop loss. Again it'll come down, probably they'll buy here, again it'll go up, they'll sell off here. People do a lot of random things, but you should have a strict rule and just follow that rule. You might just exit here and not look at the stock again, right? So because there are so many other stocks, and on the weekly charts, if you see, we had this VIX on the top, so you don't really look at the stock, right? Because it needs to cross that again to head higher. So that's how you use CCI and RS, Vignesh. I hope that helps. Ubiquitous says okay, good. Turtle Trader, do you see substance in claims about commodity cycle? Read one article on that supporting charts. Is it that easy that we hop on to good commodity stocks for the trend in commodity cycle? I'm not sure if I got your point. See, commodity cycle always happens. It's purely a cycle, right? Last 10 years we've not had a great cycle in commodities. That's why we're having a good cycle right now. And every cycle goes through volatility, and no one knows whether this cycle is still yet over or not. A lot of people are saying it's not over, but people can always predict, and predicting is very easy. Even a kid, if you give a kid a coin and say toss and tell me whether the market is going to go up or down, the kid will get it right many times than analysts get it right. So I don't really go by articles. I don't go really by opinions, because it's finally people who are giving the opinions. And for me, it's price. If price says buy, I'll buy. If price says get out, I'll get out. So that's how I trade. I don't really have the time to look at TV. In fact, to be honest, I don't even look at TV. All my news for me, which comes is through the articles on which comes on Facebook or Twitter. Otherwise, I don't really have the time to look at TV and news and read articles on others' opinions. Yeah, it's a good thing to develop opinions reading others' articles, but sometimes you tend to get biased. So it's completely up to you how you want to do it. But don't get too biased and don't get stuck in a stock, especially when markets are trading at all-time highs. And after you had such great moves, it's not really prudent to go big on a particular stock at one point. Probably you want to take that trade, but with a reasonable risk, take that trade and let it play, and then you kind of go along with it. But investing, a lot of people, what they do is, I know a lot of people have invested in Elxsi, Hindustan Copper. In fact, many of my friends have done that. And they invested at 165, 170 odd levels, and they were stuck, and today it's at 120 odd levels. Right now, that's the mistake that most of the people do, coming investing at this point, because we as humans, we are very subject to recency bias. So the moment you see a stock going up from 78 to 150, 160 and it corrects, because you've seen the recent price move up, you want to buy the stock. So that's called recency bias. Now, because the markets are now coming down, most of the people in the markets do not buy the stock because they are afraid, because their recency bias tells them that the markets are right now on a strong downtrend. So they will not have the guts to buy this downtrend. But whereas if you're a price trader, right, and you see that the price is right at support, now this support is actually a weekly support as well, and if you see reversal next week, then as a price action trader, then you would just go and buy that blindly with a small risk. Now that's why I always follow price charts, and that can really help you stay away from all the news and all the hype and all the fear. So it's completely up to you how you want to trade, right? Now Ratnesh is asking, can we enter Mahindra Logistics? Now I can give you a lot of examples right from the questions that you people ask, but I don't really disappoint you. But yeah, there's a lot of ways that people get stuck in markets. Yeah, Mahindra Logistics is in a good trend. So it went up all the way from here, Ratnesh. So it's looking good. It had a breakout here on this day. Good move. Probably the move is done. But for me, strict stop loss is 640. If it goes below 640, I don't even look at the stock unless it comes back again. Okay, so that's my views. So I hope all the views helped today. Not many people have joined. I think 24 people today. But do me a favor, before you drop off, before I sign off today, just hit that like button. So let's get 22 likes at least before you drop off, and then we will discuss many more things coming. And don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. The newsletter comes every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. and also some videos will be posted on the weekends. Don't forget to look at those videos, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. There are a lot of if you really want to learn, that this 11 p.m. session daily is a good place to learn. So don't forget to join me every day. There's a lot of learning which I don't hide anything. I just talk free out of my heart. So I hope you're all learning here, and if you're learning, do share it with your friends, and I'll see you again next Monday, coming Monday. I hope we recover from here and head higher. Otherwise, yeah, take care, have a nice weekend, stay safe, and safe trading as well. Goodbye.